Reserving the right to object, I want to say that I can't for the life of me figure out why it is so difficult to get a vote on the bills that Senator Sanders has just referenced when, by my count, the President of the United States, the Speaker of the House, a large majority of the House of Representatives, and I think a supermajority of this body are all in favor of $2,000 COVID relief payments to working Americans. Now, we've had some back and forth on the floor today about how we got to the level of $2,000. We all know how we got to that level. The President of the United States said that's the level he supported. The number originates with him. This is the number that he has asked for, and the House adopted it. And a majority of senators have said already publicly that they support it. And yet we can't seem to even get a vote on it. We can't even seem to have debate on it. I mean, with all due respect, this doesn't seem to me to be a Republicans versus Democrats issue. This seems to be the Senate versus the United States of America. And I just don't understand it. And I'm willing to bet that the American people don't understand it either. I mean, here we are in the throes of the worst pandemic in a century that working people have borne the brunt of. And all that we're asking is that those working people be first in line for relief, and that they be given meaningful relief that is only approximately commensurate with the hardships that they and their families have borne. Now, I hear a lot of talk about how we can't afford it. I do notice, however, that we seem to be able to afford all kinds of other stuff. We can afford to send lots of money to other governments. We can afford to send all kinds of tax breaks and bailouts to big corporations. We can afford to spend enormous sums of money on pork, hundreds of billions of dollars in that last bill on pork, hundreds of billions. But we can't seem to find the money for relief for working people that the President and the House and the Senate all support, and yet we can't seem to get onto the floor. Let me just share 3 stories that I've heard just this week alone, from my home state, from Missouri. Danielle from St. Louis County, she called my office. She said her utilities are about to be shut off. She's desperate for help. She said a $2,000 payment would go a long way to help keep the lights on in her house warm. I heard from a mother in southeast Missouri, that's the boot heel of my state. She wrote that her son had lost pay because of his company cutting back hours because of COVID, and that he had himself contracted the virus, and so he'd had to be home, and he was missing work, missing shifts. His family can't make it paycheck to paycheck. His husband, her daughter-in-law, is donating plasma in order to help earn some extra grocery money. Donating plasma in order to get some money to pay for groceries to feed their family. Richard from St. Louis wrote to me that any extra help that he could get would go directly to paying his rent and his utilities. He had a job that he lost in the retail business, retail sector, and he's desperately struggling. I'll just say, Mr. President, these are not people who are ne'er-do-wells. These are working people. These are strong people. These are proud people. And all that they ask for, as I have said many times on this floor before, is a chance to get back up on their feet and to be able to provide for their families. And I can't for the life of me understand why we cannot get so much as a vote on these bills. And so for that reason, Mr. President, I do not object. In fact, I enthusiastically support the measures that Senator Sanders is trying to bring to the floor, and I'd vote for them both if we were given the opportunity.
Is